How's it going, guys? Today we have some news that shows off the full Atlas passive trees as well as the loot filter updates. And I have been playing around on my Cold Dot Raider from the start of last league. I will cover this a little bit more later, but let's jump into the announcements. So, they have shared the passive trees. Oh, I forgot about this one. Okay, so here they say that please note you will still receive the same amount of Atlas passive skill points as before. So, for each of these regions, we're only getting a little bit of a look. So, I'm going to start with the one that has been the most talked about from what I have seen as far as a league start goes. That being that Zaina has 2 Chaos mod on the map bench, with Lyra Arthane combining within their grasp, giving breach bosses a chance to drop a breach stone, increased chance for breaches to have a boss, and breach density and area of effect, and they open and close faster. So if you're a very efficient clear speed build, breaches 100% are going to be very accessible, along with the new breach stuff that's being implemented. That's always a good call, especially with its accessibility this league. So also in Lyra Arthane, we have the invasion stuff from previous leagues. This is where the expedition stuff is going to reside. So here from the main one, we get 35% increased explosive radius in areas and number of explosives. So what this means is I believe you'll get a 6th explosive in maps on your expeditions. So you can also get remnants have 40% chance to have an additional suffix modifier and 2 additional remnants in the expeditions, and you can also get 50% increased quantity of expedition logbooks dropped by runic monsters in areas, and areas contain 25% increased number of runic monster markers, which is a 25% more multiplier on that quant of logbooks dropping if you get all the runic monsters. If you're trying to get logbooks, you're getting getting the runic monsters, and I bet these are all going to be like a low 3% chance maybe to spawn an expedition in the area. We also have the Smuggler's Cache stuff that has just remained unchanged. Nothing fancy here. Blueprints have a chance to be fully revealed. Increased chance to drop blueprints and 10% chance to Smuggler's Cache. And then you'll get increased stack size of rogue markers in the area, as well as Einhar in this region. It's sad to see that we lost the Einhar companion that you could take into bosses and stuff. But all of the Einhar stuff's still here. The good stuff, natural selection, beast scenarios are more likely to be less common varieties. It's cool. And then the stuff from the other zone in here as well. So that's Lyra Arthane. That's our bottom right region. Now, so I watched Grimro's video and he's really hyping up this idea of farming breaches. It's a great idea. It's good XP. It's good rewards as far as map drops returns. You're gonna get lots of breach splinters, and they're gonna be sought after, I would imagine. So now we'll go to what my initial thought would be if I wanted to farm a region on the Atlas. I would 100% be farming clinic carrots. I'm going to farm heists like nobody's business. But 100% I would be going for this region, and here's why. Abyss. Now, I saw somebody post on Reddit like a month into this league about how they were farming item level 86 Colossal Tower shields for everybody who's wanting to play Spectral Shield Throw. You cannot get item level 86 stuff unless you get the Watchstone from Cirrus that gives you +1, and those are limited. Those have a number of uses. What you can do here, though, is you can spawn Abyssal Depths, you can get Abyssal Scarabs, and you can pump them in to this Lightless Legion to try and get an increased chance to spawn Abyssal Depths. You get increased pack size, more rare monsters, more magic monsters, +3 to monster level. So, if you're doing an item level 83 map, fight monsters in your abysses are going to drop you item level 86 gear, and you would want to then filter that gear for the well-rolled bases. Since base types can now roll a range of their defenses, the first ones of those that are going to be found are going to come from Abyss. 100%. If you want the fastest push towards that stuff, you'll go to Glendit Cairns and you'll farm Abyss. Now, also here, and Abyss also keep the experience. They didn't lose the experience that I believe was lost on the Beyond as well as the Breach. You used to get increased experience in those regions before. You're still going to get increased experience in Abysses spawn increased monsters. So this is insane for XP gain as well. So if you've got the physical damage mitigation to deal with Abyss, this is a great XP farm as well. So like people that really like have a clue what they're doing, this is it. It's right here. But other things you could do if you don't want to mess with Beyond, messing with Beyond is really great. With Abysses, Rogue Traders is really awesome. It pretty much turns Rogue Exiles into Legion Generals. They'll drop items, like they'll have rewards above their head as if they were as part of a Legion. But this is also where you farm the Legion stuff. All of that's going to be combined. 3 additional Sergeants. Legion encounters with a General have both Generals. Lost the guaranteed Strongbox, though. This is also the Incursion region. It sucks that we had the Incursions 100% chance for magic monsters dropped to 33% chance. I really liked that. And then you also have the increased chance to upgrade your rooms here as well. So, on to Valdo's Rest. This is our top right region. Here is where we still have the Harbingers exactly as they were before. We have the Strongboxes exactly as they were before. We have the Delirium from Turn's End. The chance for the dissipation slower, and the Delirium areas increase faster with Distance with Mirror. And then the first note here is increased chance to spawn unique bosses. Bosses drop increased splinters and increased unique cluster jewels. No more extra reward types or anything of that type down here. So it's also where you're getting your blights. One, maps found in an area have a chance to roll an additional blight encounter, which will get lost in your map stash, just like everything else that has enchants and stuff on it. You can increase the spawn rate of the blights. They don't give good XP anyways, so increasing the spawns of the blights is not really going to help with XP gain in a significant fashion. And then up in the top left, blight chests in area have 100% chance to more chance to contain blighted maps. This is what you're going to get if you want blighted maps. And they have 35% chance for additional reward. And this screenshot, unlike the others, shows the small passives. Small passives here give 1 blight chest is lucky per passive here. So you have Nico in this region. That's the only thing I haven't mentioned. Combine the best parts of both of the previous regions. You get extra monsters that contain sulfite. I don't know. I never used this. You get a chance to contain double sulfite from the veins and chests. You can get Sulfite on map completion, and you can get increased damage, movement speed, and max resistances in maps with Azurite. So, one more. Haywork Hamlet. This is where we have our harvest, same as before. We've got the essences, exact same as before. The ritual, exact same as before. And there was also June mission stuff up there. Up there, all you were getting before, pretty much, of value was completing maps grants 10 intelligence for a random Immortal Syndicate safe house. So that can just be passive generation without running June missions. And then you get the Immortal Syndicate members execute in areas, have 10% chance to gain additional rake, which is really good for getting them up to level 3. Why they kept bribery in here, I don't know. Because this was, to me, the least useful of any of the June passives that we had before. As far as Sacred Grove, we get a 10% chance. Area of Sacred Grove contains additional harvest, and harvest bosses always drop Sacred Bloom, and 10% chance for the unchosen crop not to wilt. No more increased chance for harvest bosses, which I still haven't seen one since Harvest League. But that's there. And then Metamorph stuff is over here. 50% chance to contain additional Rogue Metamorph, which they're really fun, in my opinion. I yield additional itemized sample. You can assemble additional Metamorph after the first is dead. And down here, Metamorphs deal more damage and 50% have more life, and chance for rewards to be doubled, as well as the Tormented Spirits thing here. So Uncharted Realms. This should be exactly the same, except there's no like Zaina favor in here. They lowered the chance for Atlas mission from 10% to 7%. Otherwise, all of this looks identical to before for these. Okay, so that's that. A couple things that jumped out to me looking at the item filter information. Okay, so a new amulet base type, unset amulet. Okay, as far as maps go, there's one T7 map, base T7 map, Barrows. One base T8 map, Conservatory. One base T10 map, Crimson Township. So your Horizon Orbs, if you Horizon T7 map, you're always going to get Barrows. I don't know what happens if you use Horizon Orb on a Barrows map. That's T7. Same with these. But that jumped out to me there. Yeah, I think that's all I had here. Oh yeah. I don't understand this. You're gonna give us you're withholding item filter information because you want another little teaser thing. Like, these should have been in the patch notes, in my opinion. Withhold them from the patch notes. Okay, now we're getting to the item filter stuff. You're still withholding tainted currency. I mean, come on. You've already showed off tainted exalted orb, tainted mythic orb. I guess unless there's something else that's like extremely crazy, but I'm wondering, where are the tainted blacksmiths and armor scraps? Gonna be pretty sought after, I would imagine. So there is that. So now on to my cold dots shenanigans. So I tried to make my build as close as I could get it to what we're going to see. So like, I'm not getting the buff damage, so I'm still using Elemental Equilibrium, still using Elemental Overload, but I turned off all the dodge. I got rid of elusive. There's no elusive on the tree without using like Withering Step or Nightblade or using daggers, I think. Something. Assassin still has access to it. I turned off Acro and Phase Acro, so I have no extra dodge there. The only dodge I have on the character is coming from Quartz Infusion, which I can't get rid of that. And I even dropped the Quartz Flask, and I am now running a Jade Flask for the flat evasion rating and a Stibnite Flask for the more evasion rating, and I create a smoke cloud on use so that I can blind things and get back what is taken away from Avatar the Veil. The nearby enemies have 20% less accuracy while you have phasing. I'm going to replace that with a Stibnite Flask in the build, and still have some extra stuff there. Now, the more that I've looked at the tree, the more excited I am about messing with spell suppression. I did some more toying with the tree. I don't think I really changed much of anything, just looking around at stuff. I found a couple of interesting things that I will point out. There is another chaos wheel up here called Asylum. On this wheel, you get 30% reduced effective curses on you, as well as a bunch of chaos resistance. Now, in here, you can also get an additional 20% reduced effective curses on you. So, there's 50% reduced effective curses on you if you take this. If you're one of those totem boys who really wants to play with the Soul Mantle, even though it's getting slightly nerfed on the totem survivability, this is here. You don't need 2 Kikuzara rings anymore. You can spec into these 4 points and use a better ring. Much easier. There. Another thing here. There is now a node called Acrimony. 15% to damage over time multiplier. Now, my cold dot build isn't coming up into this region, but Acrimony is a solid choice as far as a potential anoint, but running as a raider, I'm not getting spell damage. So the 50% increased elemental damage that I get from Divine Judgment is still going to be better. But if you are playing a cold dot like a cultist or something, or any other like chaos damage over time, know that this is here. This is a lot of extra dot multi right in here. Still pretty, like, I'm not too happy with the damage over time stuff. Masteries, but that's there. Last thing on the passive tree is I found this node called Infused Flesh. I hadn't heard anybody really talking about this, but this can provide, if you take all this, 30% of damage taken recouped as life. So 30% of the damage take you will regenerate over the following 4 seconds. That's a defensive ability that just like wasn't in the game before. So I think this is really cool. Excited to see what happens as far as building around that. And it is a life mastery, so it just kind of stacks with all the other life mastery stuff that get taken away once you select them, so you can't see them all. But anyways, now I wanted to know how the build handled, since my plan is, of course, to run heists. So I'm going to run a heist with no dodge on my raider, and honestly, doesn't matter. And something else that's getting me hyped up about, well, also granted that I'm running haste on all of my heist guys, but one of the scariest things in heists, especially tunnels, which we'll see on the way back, there are these enemies that summon these gigantic balls that fire them at you that like just have a knack for one-shot and stuff. I'm sure you'll recognize it once I get on my way back and we see those. But as well as when you're coming back, when you open doors, there are these like laser beams that'll cross you. I've done a lot of heisting on raiders. Those beams and these summoned balls are like the biggest 2 things that I've died to running heists. And I'm fairly certain, I don't know the like programming side of things, but pretty certain that's spell damage. And if I can manually avoid it as well as I was previously, because I still have all the speed, I'm not doing too bad, despite the like loss of the elusive, which is a stupid amount of extra movement speed. But I also did spec in some extra movement speed on the tree. I went down here and got quick step and whatnot. All right, so let's take this and then let me pinpoint what I was looking at here. You have enemies building up back here. None of the big ones on the sides yet. These ones aren't going to do anything. Find the next door. Yeah. Whatever this guy was doing. These beams hurt a lot. Especially when you get like blasted, like with like 4 of them right on when you open a door. Like right here. And these giant balls that build up. Taking 50% of damage from those sounds amazing. Actually. Yeah, there's the giant ball. It hits big AoE explosion. If I would have stood in that, it would have one-shot me. It doesn't even matter. Yeah, and these guys like to perch at the corners of the doors. And then shoot you with beams right when you come in. And once they start summoning those orbs, they will no longer change the target of them. So they will, like, if you move around enough in here, like you can avoid those orbs pretty easily, but you can also just stack some spell suppression and take 50% damage from them. So I'm pretty happy with this. Like I took off the dodge, I took off the speed from elusive, and that still seems like a cakewalk, so I'm pretty excited about that. And that's going to do it for me for today. I'm going to throw in one little bonus clip here at the end. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. Now, I might be crazy, but part of me takes this time after leagues, like condensing down some of these remove-only tabs as sort of practice for like inventory cleaning. So check this out. I'm going to fill this inventory up, and I'm going to walk you through the process that I go through to like empty an inventory. Now, there's some people that have macros set up just scroll wheels to like repeatedly click and things like that. I've never done that. More because I've never figured out how, other than the unwillingness to do so. But every single time, let's say I have a full inventory, or I'm trading a full inventory of stuff, I will always go in, like, divide it into 6, like, columns of 2. So I will go right, up, left, right, down, left, down, right, down, left, down, right. And I will do that to clear the whole inventory out. What this is going to do, it's going to keep my mouse hand in the window, and I get the movement, just like getting it back ingrained in my hands because it's been so long since I've done any kind of mass trading, which I'll be doing at the beginning of the league. But things for selling lots of stuff. Let's say you're trying to sell lots of fusings or chaos and buying exalts or trade in fragments, which we'll be able to stack now. But I do like taking this little bit of practice just to check my accuracy on this and make sure everything is good to go before league launch. Just a little minor optimization that I do. And like I said, I might be crazy, but I'm been mexed pretty hard for these league launches. Also sucks these can't convert upgrade out of here. What else can I grab? Already cleaned out a lot of stuff, and the scroll wheel doesn't work on this mouse. That's not here. These can go. Got lots of heists from all the leagues backed up in here. And I can do it backwards too. Sometimes doing it backward is better, because once you get over into here, if you have lots of friend notifications, log online, offline, or whatnot, that can be kind of a hassle as well. But I thought I'd share that.